Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 6th chapter. Instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name. And what that means is, rather than becoming an enemy, be a friend. Right? Don't choose rather to become an enemy, when you have an opportunity to be friend, because there's more to gain from being an ally than a foe. Right? It says here, because for by being an enemy, you're going to inherit ill name, shame, and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue. Right? So just as a sinner, right, that has a double tongue, they speak from both sides of their mouth, they inherit an ill name, right? People speak bad of them. Likewise, that'll happen to you if you decide to to make yourself an enemy rather than a friend. Verse 2, extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. All right, and basically what it's saying is, don't, when you stall yourself in your own heart, don't get carried away, by your own counsel or passions, right, of your own mind, because it's going to make you, it's going to put you in lead you in a vulnerable state. It's going to make you like a bull, right, as it says here, that thy soul be torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. Now a bull, is a prey, right, to say a wild cat, a lion, some animal. So if a bull is not with the rest of the herd, it's an easy target, right, to be torn in pieces. And that's what you do to yourself. You put yourself in that dangerous position, that vulnerable position, that is not advisable to do. Verse 3, thou shalt eat up thy leaves and lose thy fruit, and leave thyself as a dry tree. And basically through the actions of verse 2, you're going to cause yourself to be left destitute, right, like a dry tree. A wicked soul shall destroy him that hath it, and shall make him to be laughed to scorn of his enemies. So one that has a wicked soul, basically they're going to destroy themselves, right, by their wicked deeds and wicked actions, which eventually always catch up to you. Okay, and it's going to lead you to your demise. And it'll also, as it says, it'll make him to be laughed to scorn of his enemies, right? You're going to be you're going to be mocked of your enemies when you meet your demise. Verse 5, sweet language will multiply friends. Yeah, when you speak, fair or well, or you say positive things, you compliment people, like that's an example of sweet language. You're going to have more people that are going to be cool with you. More people are going to like you. And a fair speaking tongue will increase kind greetings, right? And when you speak fairly, you speak, like you're somebody that's easy to get along with, right? You're not hostile, right? You're not speaking down or condescending to people. So it says it will increase kind greetings. You'll see that one person that's always cool with everybody. Everybody has something good to say of them because of their fair speech. Be in peace with many, nevertheless. Salakia. Nevertheless, but have one counselor of 1,000. So, you can be at peace with a lot of people, but just because you're cool people doesn't mean you have to listen to the advice of everybody, right? Rather have one counselor of 1,000, one that you have proven, because it's better to have counsel from one good, trustworthy counselor than 1,000, people. They're gonna leave your mind. You're not even gonna be double-minded. You're gonna be tossed to and fro. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. So before you become friends with somebody, right, to accept somebody as a friend, try them, prove them, right? Don't be too quick to give them credit. See how they are under different, conditions. When you're abased, when you're bound, is this person an actual friend? For some man is a friend for his own occasion, right? There's some that are friends with you out of the gain that they can get, and will not abide in the day of trouble, right? If something happens, you lose what you have, you're gonna see that they disappear along with it. And there is a friend who being turned to enmity, right? So there are those who you may be friends one day, but through, say, some disagreement, argument, something, not seeing eye to eye, they become an enemy, right? And strife will discover thy reproach, right? So through them becoming, you guys not being on good terms anymore, or you having some back and forth, they'll end up, as it says, discovering thy reproach, or airing out, whatever it is you told them when you were friends. Again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. So at the table, right, where they'll eat with you, they'll be close by, so long as you have something beneficial to them. But in a day of affliction, when you're going through, something difficult or tough, they're not going to be there for you. So you got to watch out. That's why you got to prove your friends, prove those that are around you. But in thy prosperity, he will be as thyself, right? He's going to be right there by you, and will be bold over thy servants, right? Even to the point of because he's going to be by you reaping your benefits, right? To the point of even using your servants because there's some gain that he can get of you. If thou be brought low, right? If you were to lose your substance, or something tragic was to happen, he will be against thee. The same one that was right there with you is now going to be against you. He's not going to be there to help you, and will hide himself from thy face. See? So when you need help, they're nowhere to be found. Separate thyself from thine enemies. Yeah, don't, and take heed of thy friends. So there's somebody that has it out for you, that does not have your best interest in mind. Stay away from them. Okay? And rather, take heed to your friends. Watch out who's around you, who you consider a friend. A faithful friend is a strong defense, because they're gonna be there to hold you down, right? It's like when something actually happens, whether it's a war or the city's being attacked. If your city is a fortress, then you're defended, right? No matter what comes against you. Likewise, when you have a faithful friend, it's like a strong defense, right? When you're down, they can help you. If it's monetarily, or a place to stay, or whatever it is, even sound words, they're just there. You can depend on them. And he that hath found such an one hath found a treasure, right? Finding a faithful friend like that is like finding a treasure. Nothing doth countervail meaning like nothing is as good, right, as a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. He's priceless. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. See, because they're always there, they're faithful, and they can, they'll stick with it through you, or stick through it with you, um, through thick and thin, as they say. Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright. Right? If you fear the Lord is going to make it to where your friendship and those that you select around you they're going to be good, right? They're going to be to your benefit. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. Yeah, just as you are, like the way that you carry yourself, right? That's going to be how whoever is around you, um, is. And likewise, the way that you treat yourself, you're going to treat them too, right? So you're going to take good care of your friendship. It says here, I'm going to read this in the GNTD. A person who fears the Lord can make real friendships, because he will treat his friends as he does himself. My son, gather instruction from thy youth up. When you gather instruction, that means whatever correction comes your way, right, you take heed to it. From your youth on up, so shalt thou find wisdom till thine old age, because you constantly learned and gave heed to the things that were taught to you from your youth growing up. That's how you gain that extreme and sound wisdom in your old age. Come unto her as one that ploweth and soweth, right? And one that ploweth and soweth is one that labors, right? You're willing to work. and wait for her good fruits, right? Be patient, endure. It tells you in the fourth chapter that she will try you, right, by crooked ways. But if you hold on firm, she's going to return to you the straight path. For thou shalt not toil much in laboring about her, but thou shalt eat of her fruits right soon. So if you stick and hang in there and you labor for wisdom, it won't be long before you start to reap the benefits thereof. She is very unpleasant to the unlearned. He that is without understanding will not remain with her. Yeah. So she's unpleasant to the unlearned because the unlearned that's not willing to learn is not one that is wisdom desires. Okay, so to the unlearned, they don't see the value in wisdom, right? And he that is without understanding will not remain with her. They're not going to dwell with wisdom because once again, they don't see the value in it. She will lie upon him as a mighty stone of trial. He will cast her from him ere it be long. See, that discipline that comes with wisdom and following instruction, they won't be able to handle. And that's what wisdom will be like, a burden upon them. And before long, they're gonna shake themselves of it. I can't do this no more. I want to go back into the world. I want to have my freedom, and I want to, because the discipline is too much for them. For wisdom is according to her name. She is not manifest unto many. That's why it's a very special thing to have wisdom, because it's not manifest onto just anybody. Give ear, my son, receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel, and put thy feet into her fetters. Her fetters are like type it in here so you can see fetters and chains. These are what it is, like shackles. So when you put your feet into her shackles, it means that you're chained down to wisdom, right? And thy neck into her chain. So you're limited, okay, in the things you do, or controlled in the things you do by wisdom. You put yourself under her discipline. Bow down thy shoulder and bear her, right? So carry her upon your shoulders and be not grieved with her bonds. Don't be don't feel like it's too much, the discipline, right, or the restrictions that come with wisdom, because it's for your betterment. Come unto her with thy whole heart and keep her ways with all thy power. See, so when you seek wisdom, do it wholeheartedly. All right, not like half-assedly, because then she's gonna find you unworthy, right? And keep her ways, right, the ways of wisdom, the paths, the instructions with all your power. Search and seek, and she shall be made known unto thee. And when thou hast got hold of her, let her not go. See, so if you diligently seek after wisdom, she will come, she will seek you, she will make herself known unto you. Right? She desires those that desire her, and once you have wisdom, don't let her go. For at the last thou shalt find rest, right? She will bring you to rest, that thou shalt be turned to thy joy. Then shall her fetters be a strong defense for thee, and her chains a robe of glory. See, so that what felt in the beginning like restrictions through the discipline of wisdom is now going to be a strong defense onto you, because now that you're used to it, it doesn't feel like restrictions and chains anymore, but rather a defense, right, or glory, in conforming you to the discipline of wisdom. Now the way you move brings forth glory to you. For there is a golden ornament upon her, and her bands are purple lace, right? Which is like these things are valuable, right? A golden ornament, that purple, that royal purple. That's what her bands, right, are likened onto. Thou shalt put her on as a robe of honor. This is not literally speaking, but you're gonna wrap wisdom around you in everything you do, as though you're wearing an honorable robe. And so you'll be proud to put her on, and shall put her about thee as a crown of joy. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. So if you're willing, you'll be taught. You can learn. And if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent. Right? Those that give their mind and time to be diligent, they will be. Right? They're gonna learn. They're gonna be wise. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. Right? And if you love to hear, listen, and learn more than you do to speak, you're gonna be able to receive understanding. And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. Bowing your ear is basically to listen. Stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise. So if you amongst the elders you see one that is wise, you make sure you stay close by them to learn as much as you can. Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee, because that's how you learn, right? That's how you gain those little nuggets. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes. Betimes is early unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. So always be at his doorstep. Whereas whatever opportunity you get to be around him, to learn from him, you go ahead and you do so. Let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commandments. He shall establish thine heart, and give thee wisdom at thine own desire. See, if you have your mind stayed upon the Lord, he's going to establish you and increase you and bless you with wisdom, as you desire. And that brings us to the end of the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 6th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Racha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.